Hello and welcome back to the Cars Ireland YouTube channel. This is the all-new Peugeot 308 and it is very green. Not just in colour, but in its environmental credentials too, because it's a plug-in hybrid. See what I did there? Green, green. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's get into it.
CarsIreland.ie. Click, click, vroom, vroom.
So the engine setup is a pretty common one nowadays. You have a 1.6 litre petrol engine with a turbocharger and an electric motor, combines to give about 180 horsepower. There's also a higher powered plug-in hybrid with 225 horsepower. It comes with a 12.4 kilowatt hour battery with a quoted purely electric range of up to 60 kilometers. Charging times vary between 7 or 8 hours from a 3-pin plug. You can specify a faster 7.4 kilowatt hour charge, and that will charge the battery in about an hour 40. But you do have to pay €600 for that. Now, as for practicality, well, the boot loses out on a bit of space thanks to the hybrid setup, which is very typical. 361 litres for the hybrid, 412 if you get a traditional petrol or diesel. The back is also pretty tight for someone of my height at 6 foot. Behind my driving position, it's a tight squeeze and not a huge amount of room. Shorter people will be fine. There are USBs, ISOFIX, armrest, all that good stuff back there too. The 308 comes in 3 spec levels: Active, Allure and GT. The Active starts at about €32,000 for the 1.2 petrol. We are in an Allure spec model today. If you get the petrol, it's about 36. The plug-in hybrid is a bit of a jump in price, and this is about €45,000. On the outside, you get that excellent green paint included. I really like it. Please let us know what you think in the comments, because green always divides opinion for some reason, but I love it. You also have those 17-inch alloys. There's some chrome tips on the exhaust. And to me, it's just an excellent looking hatchback. Some of the highlights on the interior include the 10-inch cockpit, the display here in front of the driver. It has lots of configuration, looks really slick, works really well. Really a big fan of the cockpit. There's also a new 10-inch infotainment screen with a panel underneath called iToggle. Yes, iToggles. And that is customizable depending on what quick button you want to put in there, but it is a touchscreen as well, so keep that in mind. It can be, I did find myself hitting off it as I tried to press other stuff on the infotainment screen, so it is a bit fiddly. As I say with most infotainments nowadays, it's a bit fiddly. You'll get used to it, but it's just what we have to accept nowadays. Aircon controls are in there. You have a sat nav, you have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay wirelessly. Very important. Moving down the console, you have some quick buttons here for your air conditioning and your volume. Mercifully, there is no piano black on the center console. You have this plastic silver piece. You have your drive modes select. You have a cup holder. You have USB-C. Little bit of storage here for, I suppose, your phone, but there's also storage up here for your phone, and a small bit in the armrest with a nice action on it. Thankfully, there's also a reversing camera included and parking sensors, because it is quite a tight view out the back there. Not a lot of visibility. The seats are a mix of fabric and I suppose fake leather, but they look pretty good. They're actually very comfortable. I've had no issues with comfort. It's very much so a wrap-around dash. It has a wrap-around feel to it, which really is cosseting. It's a nice place to sit for a long journey. I mean, for me, up here, no real complaints. Very nice. Time to drive. So what is it like to drive? Well, first things first, there are other options in the lineup. You can have a 1.2 petrol or the novelty of a 1.5 diesel. Plus, I don't think manual is an option, so it's like Faulty Towers without the waiter. Anyway, what's what we have today like? That's more appropriate. 1.6 petrol engine, electric motor, 180 brake horsepower, and a small battery. So the gospel according to plug-in hybrids, that is, keep them charged, and when you are driving around town at lower speeds, use it in electric mode and get the most out of that battery and electric motor. When you're doing longer journeys, like 50, 60, 70 plus kilometers, set it into hybrid mode to get the electric motor and petrol motor working together to keep your fuel economy. So what is the fuel economy like on the 308? Well, it's actually pretty decent, and if we check the computer, over the 5,000 kilometers that this car has done, it has averaged 5.2 litres per 100 kilometers. I'll pop in MPG because I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's decent. Now I suppose a big novelty with all Peugeots nowadays is the small steering wheel. It's across the range and it's what they're sticking with. And it's a funny one because when you sit in first, it feels weird. You do have to kind of adjust yourself to get comfortable. But after 2 minutes, it actually feels incredibly natural, and I'd have actually no issue recommending it to anyone. But at the same time, do test it because it is different. While we're on the subject of the steering wheel, steering is nice and responsive. I think that's probably helped by the small steering wheel, just keeps the responsiveness up. Not a huge amount to feel. I wouldn't say it's blistering with feedback, but I don't know that that's a big deal for someone buying something like this. The level of comfort is pretty good too. It deals with most bumps without any real issues. This one is on the 17s, as I said. You can get 18s on the GT spec one, but I don't know. I'd probably stick with 17s if you do like them. It does add to that comfort a bit, and it probably suits the overall nature of the car too. Another plug-in hybrid thing is how it transitions from petrol to electric and vice versa. There's a bit of a clunk in this one, especially around town, when it is moving from electric to petrol in town. That's more so an issue when you don't really have a charge and it's relying on the petrol engine a bit more, but it's chopping and changing between the two quite a lot. You do feel it is a bit clunky, but if you keep it charged, it's only going to use the electric stuff in town, so it's really comfortable in that situation. On a more open and flowing road like we're on now, when you are in hybrid mode, it chops and changes without any real issue. I can't really notice it. It's not a problem, and it is actually quite responsive too. When you want to put the foot down, the 180 brake is perfectly acceptable and actually quite impressive. You'll get to 100 kilometers an hour in the 7s, so pretty decent. Come around the corner and put the foot down. Look, the engine doesn't sound amazing or anything, but it gets the job done. You have drive modes, so sport, hybrid and electric. Sport, bit more responsive acceleration. That's kind of it really. You don't notice anything else beyond that. So in a situation we're in now, we're coming onto a faster moving road, pop it in sport, straighten her up, go. Like, it's okay. Changes are a bit quicker too. Cars in front are a bit slower. So we are moving along at 95 kilometers an hour now, and comfort is good. There's no major rattles around your bum or anything like that. That's all very nicely cosseted. The only thing I will say is it's maybe a bit windy. The wind noise is high. You have radar guided cruise control as well, so nice, comfortable on a longer journey. One thing I haven't been massively impressed with is the brakes, and this is a pretty common one with plug-in hybrids. And whatever way that complex system is connected, the brakes can be a little grabby or nothing-y, if that makes sense. They do take time to adjust to, because there is a lack of feel, and it almost feels like all or nothing at times. You can't really complain. It's like a 7.5 out of 10, this car, I would say. The space in the back probably lets it down a bit. It drives well. It's economical when it's used in the right conditions. I mean, it looks great. I really love the look of it. Really like that green. I just hope it comes up on camera, because when I was taking those shots, it is a green background. So I just hope it picks up how good it looks in person. It really is a handsome, handsome machine. If you'd like to search Cars Ireland for a Peugeot or any other car at all, please click on the link above. And we will see you again another time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.